It's already started recording. Going live. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Showtime. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hi, Daniel. It is that time of the day again where I get to ask all my questions, and the viewers get to get their questions answered by Daniel. Some of you might have seen some of the other videos about Daniel and how he started his healing journey with different healing modalities. Tonight, I wanted to ask Daniel everything about soulmates. Just today, for instance, somebody asked me, well, how about twin flames? So please, Daniel, get on board. We have viewers watching. Maybe if you have questions, please drop it in the comments box here below and I'll give them to Daniel. Hi, Pavitar. And basically, Daniel is here to answer our questions. No question is too difficult. Daniel, come on board. Say hi.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
So
Good to be
we're
here.
start, Daniel, with this big topic of romance and relationships, past lives, and the soul, and blah blah blah. It's a big one.
Yeah, it's quite a big one. So we're going to take a few topics and answer some questions. So we're going to look at what is the soulmate, what gets in the way of people finding their soulmate, and some of the tools you can use in the dating world. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So firstly, so I'm going to share the several types of soulmate according to Theta Healing. So from the founder of Theta Healing. So 7 types of soulmates. So one is the twin flame. The twin flame is someone who is exactly like you. That's level 1. There's the incompatible soulmate. So an incompatible soulmate is a soul you've known before. So because of this, you have an emotional and physical attraction to them, but they're nonetheless incompatible with you in this lifetime. So then you have the diamond in the rough soulmate. So this is a soulmate who can be compatible with you, but you have met them before they have developed enough for a relationship. So they're not ready, they're not in the right place at this time to be your soulmate. So they would need some work being done before they're ready.
Okay.
Then you have the unfinished business soulmate. So these are soulmates that have unfinished business from a past life relationship. So here you have the opportunity to meet again and repair the karma between you.
Okay.
So that's 4. So then the 5th is the compatible soulmate. So these are soulmates who are perfect for now, but also you might grow apart from them. So they're compatible for now, but you may grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the compatible life soulmate. So these are compatible soulmates with an added spiritual connection. And then lastly, 7, the divine life partner soulmate. So divine life partner soulmate is someone who shares your divine timing and you have a mission in this life with them on earth. So let me just recap. So it's a twin soulmate, so it's exactly like you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, with twin soulmates, some people are confused when looking for a soulmate, and they ask the creator for a twin flame instead. So twin flame is someone who's exactly like you, and sometimes this can cause friction between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be a mirror of how you were 20 years ago, so there might be immature. So most of the time, twin soulmates will stay in life for a little time. So this is according to Vienna. I'm just reading from the book.
Yes.
So incompatible soulmates, we said, number 2. The diamond in the rough soulmate, they're not ready for you right now. The unfinished business soulmate, so you attract them to finish some business from a previous lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Compatible soulmate, and this is the one we are looking for. So we're looking for a compatible soulmate or a compatible life soulmate,
Mm-hmm.
or a divine life partner soulmate. So those are the ones which will lead to fruitful relationships.
Okay, so can you please define what is a fruitful relationship? So because I can imagine that when you sometimes you have these addictive, let's say codependent relationships, and people can't even leave each other. They fight all the time, they make each other horrible, miserable. They still stay together. And they'll still say you're my soulmate, and but how do they know whether which type they are. What maybe could they, for instance, even if they act like incompatible soulmates or unfinished business soulmates, or the diamond in the rough for all I care, could they still transition into compatible soulmates?
Well, the thing is, firstly, let's step back. So when we think we have a soulmate, we need to make sure that actually it's so there's obviously a man-made definition of what a soulmate is,
Yeah.
and we need to check in to ourselves and see if we actually understand what a soulmate is. And so when we use Theta Healing, we'll actually download the universal definition of soulmate, or the definition from the creator of all that it is. So then there's no confusion. It's not like you don't have to logically understand it. You just know inside what a soulmate is. So that's the first thing. Then
Okay.
once you know that, so usually when I do the theta, I teach people how to check in using kinesiology, or you can check in with yourself, and you can actually ask yourself the question: is this person a compatible soulmate? So I do that often. Like when I meet someone, I think, okay, we check in: is this a compatible soulmate? Yes or no? You can then check in: would it be? And sometimes they may not be a soulmate, but maybe there's a reason for you to date them. So then you can tune in and ask yourself, it will be beneficial to date this person, yes or no. So there's a couple of tools that you can use,
Yeah.
using kinesiology, or just checking in with yourself, like tuning in. If you're good at tuning into yourself and asking questions, then you can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the first thing is to make sure you understand what actual definition of a soulmate is, but the universal definition. Like your heart knows what a soulmate is. So you want to go from the heart's definition or the creator's definition rather than necessarily your thinking about it.
Okay. Okay. Or looking at patterns in your life. Basically, you still have to use the methods and tools and the technology of theta healing to determine whether or not this person is a soulmate, meaning your body will tell you.
Yeah, you don't have to use theta healing. Like if you know how to tune into your inner wisdom, then and your intuition, you can ask that. But with theta healing, it makes it easier to it's an easy method to tune in, essentially.
Yeah.
And usually when we do theta, we actually look at so we make sure we download the correct definition of what a soulmate is, and then we just download the essential feelings of what it feels like to have a soulmate, and the beliefs around how to be in a soulmate relationship as well. So some of those you can download into your subconscious, so you actually don't need to so basically you don't need to, like, you just know, essentially. You know, you can trust your intuition. You know when you've met one, and you know
Yeah.
that they're the
Yeah.
right person for you.
Yeah. So let's say, because you have the three last types of soulmates, right? One was
Yeah.
compatible life soulmate, and the other one was divine light. Divine, what
So
was
yeah, it was compatible soulmate, compatible life soulmate, and divine life
divine life
soulmate.
soulmate? So,
Yeah.
can one type of soulmate? So let's say you met a person, and let's say they are compatible, and then but they have. How do you know it's not it is not a compatible life soulmate or divine life soulmate? And what is this whole term about divine life? Is this like the jackpot? Is that the jackpot person that you have to go and look for or attract into your life?
I So Viviana, who wrote the Theta Healing, she has come up with this. I think the question more is, so what do you want? I think innately we know whether we will have a compatible soulmate in this life or a divine life soulmate in this life. Like I've tuned in for myself. For me, I think I have a compatible soulmate. I might have a compatible life soulmate. I don't necessarily think I have divine life soulmate. I don't think you have that in each lifetime. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's. I think it's. I don't think it's important. I don't think you want to hold out for like, okay, I only want to meet my divine life soulmate. I think if you have one, you probably have a sense of it, or you have to tune in and or use these to find out if you do have one or not. I actually personally I'm not really that concerned with if I have one. It's just for me, any one of the top three will be fine for me.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the characteristics about these three last type of relationships that are very different from the first ones we mentioned? How can people, if they don't have the tools, let's say, wake up to the fact that maybe this is not the right or the best type of relationship that they're entering into or settling for, whatever it is?
Okay, so I think so with a divine life partner, soulmate, you know that there is a purpose. Like if you're in tune enough, you'll know. Um, so with the previous ones, so let's go back. So the twin flame, you know because there's friction and they're similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, incompatible. Um, I think actually, to be honest, I think this is a question of you just know. Like you have to be in a relationship, you have to ask questions, you have to know it. Yeah, I think it's not a question that is, you can't really give a general guideline of that. I think each person will know what's right for them and what's right for their relationship.
Yeah. Because I think from the interviews I saw with Vienna, it took her a while to understand who her husband was, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was married 3 times. Um, I think when and actually she had asked for guidance about who her soulmate was, and the like she would get messages that it was it was a guy from Montana. But what she didn't realize actually his name was Guy, and he was from Montana, but she didn't meet him in Montana, so she was confused. But it got to a point where she like they had like she, I think she knew there was something there. There was an attraction there, and I think she resisted it initially. Then at some point, I think after like, they went through a courting period, so at some point after a couple of months, like she knew like there was a magical spark between them. There was an energy that they just knew was a divine life soulmate.
So
And it's not like
it was
so
not.
it wasn't a perfect relationship. There was some growing they had to do together. They had to work things out, and she
Oh,
had to learn how to allow herself to be loved. And that was the lesson she got from her previous relationship. Her previous marriages, she didn't allow herself to be loved. And she didn't meet her soulmate until I think she was in her 50s, actually. So it can take a while as well.
oh my God.
But also the reason for that relationship is that she had created Theta Healing and he came on board to help her in that mission to create Theta Healing. So the two of them together allowed them to expand the work that they did essentially and branch that out.
Okay.
So there was a reason for that relationship.
Yeah.
And so I just have an opinion, I don't have the truth on this, but for me, I think if you have a divine life soulmate, you kind of know, or you can request it, but I can't, it's not like there's a science about it right now.
Okay.
So I think it's an individual thing.
Yeah. So just for the fact, because of the fact that let's say she's been married three times, the two other marriages, weren't they by default then soulmates? I mean, you don't have like normal relationships, I would say, with people that you actually get married to, or you lived with them for a long time, or um,
You don't have to, you can get married with anyone. Like,
uh,
it doesn't, like, you don't have to be in a relationship with your soulmate. Like, I think most people, well, let me not speak for everyone, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are married and they're not married to their soulmate.
yeah. Is it possible that you could meet, let's say, a divine life soulmate or a life partner soulmate, and they're completely new to you, meaning you've never met before in a past life, or is that actually possible? Would you know the answer to that?
I'm sure it is. I think these questions are hard. Like we haven't been there, right? We haven't been
No.
to unless you actually do a past life regression or something. Like I'm sure we can meet new people. Part of it is also you can make a request for what you want in life, and I think the thing is that we don't really have control in this lifetime in terms of like we're not always present to what our mission is and why we're here. So I think it's a bit difficult to talk about that actually.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's very helpful. I think it's more helpful to um, the thing is, the danger is you're holding out for something
Yeah.
and you're holding on to a fantasy. So I think actually I don't think it's a relevant question, personally. Like you have to, like you want to look at what's important to you. Like what do you want in this lifetime? Do you feel that you have a divine life soulmate?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to go with what you want to manifest, but also be what's the
Yeah.
word? You have gratitude for what comes your way.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is
Yeah.
your
So yeah, I think like it's good to know the different levels, but I think it's important not to get caught up in the details. Like you've got to live your life
yeah,
from your own intuition, your own guidance, rather than living from the theory of something.
yeah. So can
So
you share
it's
a little?
probably totally possible, but I don't think it's important or useful to wonder whether you've met a soulmate in this lifetime or previous lifetime, or whether they're new. I think it's more important is, are you compatible? Are you compatible soulmates?
Yeah,
Cool. So
because that
just want
word is
to
thrown around a
move on.
lot.
Sorry?
That word is just thrown a lot around a lot. People just
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to know, have knowledge and understanding, but I think that the deepest knowledge and understanding is already inside of us. So we don't necessarily, so our work to do really is just removing all of the beliefs that are in the way of meeting our soulmate. And I think we should just focus on making sure we're prepared and making sure we are in a space where we're attracting that. So just need to move on actually because I'm running out of time here. So what gets in the way of finding a soulmate? So there's lots of beliefs that can get in the way, and beliefs around everything. So beliefs around sex, fear and resentment from previous relationships,
Mm-hmm.
beliefs around intimacy or blocks around intimacy,
Yeah.
blocks of what would happen if you actually did find your soulmate. So I'll give you some examples of beliefs that I've heard. So for some people, it's too good to be true to meet your soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
For some, being a soulmate would mean they could give up their freedom. Some people might be totally consumed by it.
Yeah.
And then simply, some people are just not ready. Like there are some beliefs in the way that they need to remove before they can be ready. So for men, some things for men might be they're not successful enough.
Yeah.
They need to accomplish a big goal before they're ready to meet their soulmate.
Yeah. And what is it? Um, I'm just asking some questions because you did a session on me so that I could experience what a soulmate theta healing would look like. And
Yeah,
so I think so for other sessions that we did, a lot of my beliefs actually came from the culture or from the soul level, meaning consciously I've worked on through a lot of stuff in that specific area. But for the soulmates,
yeah,
I still had beliefs from this current life, from this current family. um
yeah,
Although, I cannot tell how much work I've done on it. But what I found when we were working and doing the kinesiology is, like, sometimes one time you asked me a question and I gave two different answers, and I didn't even know why, because my body just gave that answer. And then you actually told me,
mm,
yeah, it's because you can still have conflicting beliefs. So you believe one thing and then you also believe the other thing. And so it was good that we did the
yeah,
kinesiology test. And what I found was, the level of complexity of questions, they go very deep. And we
yeah,
sometimes our own blind spots. So if there are issues in our lives that we keep on meeting, it really helps to actually do a clearing, on it, even if you don't believe in healing or past lives. I think it's important that you clear it, because once you clear it, I mean, there was, you went quite deep with some of the questions, and at one point there, I could feel sadness as well, whereas before I didn't feel any sadness. You just went deep enough for me to actually access those, let's say, barriers or blocks. And I
yeah,
definitely also, one of the things that you noticed in me was that I had a barrier to actually meeting them. And there was quite, it was actually just a few simple things. It wasn't like super heavy, but there was a barrier. So even if these people were around me,
yeah.
they didn't even get close to me.
So that was like an energetic barrier. Like you could feel like an energy like repelling people away, basically repelling guys away. So it was like an energetic, invisible barrier. Just to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And what I think was interesting was that the barrier was really it was quite not a lot of things, but it was enough to not let it in. And it
Yeah,
wasn't like super serious as well. You know, wouldn't say, "Oh my God, Angelique, you have to do years of Theta healing or therapy." It's actually just a few simple things that actually created that barrier. They were enough
yeah,
to not let it in. So
yeah.
what is it that you noticed for yourself when you did the, you know, for you, and we discussed this, like both you and I haven't, you know, of course probably we have met people like that, but we're not in a divine life or life soulmate type of relationship at this moment in time. What is it that
Mm.
you experienced in the healing journey that you're on right now?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say, like, we've, I think probably you've probably met your soulmate before. I've met a compatible soulmate before. I didn't know it at the time,
Uh-huh.
but actually, I did a test to just go back and say, oh, were they my soulmate? And it was yes, they were. So we're always meeting soulmates on our journey, and sometimes we just don't choose to be with them. Maybe we didn't have the insight, or maybe it was too difficult. For me, it was a long distance relationship, so it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not like, and people can meet their soulmates and then they can break up. So I know people have met their soulmates and they've broken up and now they're looking for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So just to, like, it's not like it's a necessarily happy ever after, like,
Yeah.
and then it's not the end also.
Yeah.
So that's possible. So my personal journey. So for me, my my blocks really around soulmates was around my sexuality. So um, like I'd been out as a gay man, but
Mm-hmm.
really just to my friends and just a few people that know me.
Yeah.
And it was not like I was hiding it, but for me, there was a subconscious level where if I actually was in a relationship, then I'd really have to be out. Like it's like carrying a billboard.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was the main thing for me. And then there was some religious beliefs um, around that as well.
Yeah.
Um, there was more. It wasn't about my relationship with God. It was more what other people would think
Yeah.
as well. So it was like it was basically protecting me from having to deal with all of that. So just keeping me safe. And that's the thing. A lot of these barriers are there to keep us safe, but then
Absolutely.
they inhibit us at the same time.
Yeah.
So for me, so I cleared mine, and once I cleared, actually, it's like magic. Manifesting starts happening. So I manifested about 5 guys in the space of 5 months, and the the level of coincidence and the level of commonality was just really extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always like the universe was dropping breadcrumbs, and I was just picking them up and going with them. None of them were my soulmates, but the level had really increased. So, and then I saw like there was just my vibration was off, so I wasn't attracting like the 100%. Like this is my soulmate. I was attracting guys who are like, let's say 70% there, but not the
Yeah.
100%. And I enjoyed those relationships as they were, right? So I think the main thing is once you clear away the energy blockages,
Yeah.
like then you can start manifesting. And we talk about the law of attraction,
Yes.
um, and manifestation. I think the law of attraction is very powerful in the area of relationships because we are pure energy. We don't need to manifest solid things. We're just actually meeting other people, and we have our own auric field, so it's easy for us to tune in to sense, and we're all connected. So in terms of law of attraction with other people, I think it's very it's probably the quickest manifestation we can have. Well, not say the quickest, but the easiest. So
Yeah.
when we're in a space of there's nothing going on, we have no resentments, there's
Yeah.
no energy and charge in there to hold us back from meeting our soulmate, then things start to open up and we can manifest quite quickly.
Yeah.
And even before Theta Healing, I've had many experiences where I manifested great dates. I've never had a problem with that. Um, so yeah, so like using Theta to remove the barriers to manifesting what you want is very powerful. And there's a few basic questions that really work when we do Theta Healing. So one is actually, are you ready to meet your soulmate? So we'll check in yes or no.
Yeah.
And then we'll check in to see whether you are actively, let's say, sabotaging or resisting meeting your soulmate. And then we're looking to why are you sabotaging? What's in the root of that? And
Yeah.
again, this works at 4 different levels. So you have there could be beliefs or blockages from this lifetime, so things we've put in from this lifetime. ancestral beliefs and blockages, and cultural as well,
Yeah.
which is the third one. So I think you had some cultural blocks for yourself, and then soul level ones as well. So sometimes we carry soul level beliefs which impact us as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah. So that's
when we manifest very quickly, it still doesn't mean that we don't have work to do, right? I mean, so
yeah.
uh, can I ask you a question? Because this is really about the interaction when you do meet a soulmate. Would you, so when people have to work through their issues, could they work together as a couple on Theta Healing? Or would they, is it more, is it better to work on things by yourself?
I don't think there's no set answer. Some people work together in a relationship. You're gonna have to do work in a relationship anyway. So I would not put any limit on that. I don't think. I think yes, it's important to work on yourself. If you're not in a relationship right now, then yes, work on yourself. But if your soulmate comes along, you're not going to say, "Oh, sorry, I'm not ready. Let me work on myself a bit more." So I think yes, if you're single, work through, clear away the beliefs that are in the way.
Yeah.
But if you meet your soulmate, it's like there is some sense of divine timing. It's dependent on your vibration and the vibration of your soulmate, and it's dependent on both of your lives. So if fate's happening, you cross, then you go with what's there.
Yeah.
It's a journey, right? So it's a journey for all of us. So I would say follow your intuition on that one,
Yeah.
and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, normally I would have tons of questions, but I try to ask them, and then basically I think one of the main things is that I'm still coming from a human definition of soulmate, and I need to actually go to the creator's definition of soulmate, and that's where I just don't know. That's where I
I
have
think,
an understanding of what the creator's definition is.
yeah. So I'm sure we downloaded that for you, but if not, we'll do it again and work on that. But I think it's just important not to get too involved in the thinking. It is, the definition of soulmate comes from your soul. It's inner knowing. So just be in the present. I think our job is to be in the present moment, be aware. We don't need to overthink it. We use our judgment. We have trust our own judgment and discernment, and live life.
Yeah, yeah. The most painful relationships that actually do occur, they seem to be the unfinished business ones or the incompatible soulmate relationships. Are there any quick telltale signs that we've landed into one of those more difficult soulmate relationships, even though there is a lot of attraction, a lot of love, a lot of inner knowing that you've known this person before?
I would just tune into your higher self, tune into your higher self, and ask the questions. It works for me to be in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask yourself, this is a compatible soulmate that I'm with.
Yeah.
It is in my highest. Ask if it's in my highest and best interest to be in this relationship. And you'll save it. And I found that for myself. There's been guys that I really, really like, and I really wanted the answer. I tuned in to say is this the best? It will be my highest. What's the word? It would be my highest interest to be in a relationship, and the answer was no. And I really wanted to be yes, and it was no. So that's very. I think that's the most important thing, because actually even other people could tell that actually this person was someone I shouldn't be in a relationship with. So it's important not to get fooled, and you can ask for yourself, or you can ask someone, ask a trusted friend as well, someone who has some sort of intuitive ability to ask, and you can ask them on your behalf as well. So that stops you from getting involved in that kind of relationship. And actually, so this is a good thing. There's a little tool that I use for dating as well. So especially if you're online, if you see a picture of someone, you can actually just tune into their essence and get a sense of who they are. If you just stare at the picture, like clear your mind and just tune in to see what kind of person they are. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can use the knowledge test again to ask, it would be worth meeting this person, yes or no. This person is, it would be my highest and best definition to be in a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
And then you want to be clear on whether that's a romantic relationship or a friendship. So those are the tools you can use.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
that's
that will save you a lot of time, and that will avoid you getting into those emotional dramas which don't do us any good.
those emotional dramas create a lot of additional barriers, I would say, in this lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, so they create trauma essentially. So a lot of times why people are not manifesting is there's some traumatic experience, so they still have that memory
Yeah.
or that trauma in their body, and that impacts their energy.
Yeah.
So it's what we believe is what we attract. So if those limiting beliefs are, so for example, if someone has a view that all men are bastards or all women are whatever,
Gold diggers.
or if you can't, yeah, exactly, or you can't trust men. So those beliefs are in our energy. If they're in our energy system, and you want to test, you want to test for these beliefs. What am I saying? Yeah, you want to. If those are your limited beliefs, that's how you can perceive the world, and that's what you're going to attract. It's a law of attraction in effect.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a
So
question.
I mean, even before I spoke about, even before I really learned the law of attraction, I would never say there's no one out there for me, because I just thought you never know.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers, there's bound to be someone there for you.
When I've done, of course, because I've been in different types of law of attraction methods of teaching this. And, I've actually been very successful in manifesting the people and the scenes from, let's say, my mind movies or even my vision board. But so what I have heard and what I think I understand now from meeting those people who actually just appeared in my life, um, is that sometimes your soul agrees to meeting certain incompatible soulmates or people because you need a lesson to learn. Is that is my understanding correct?
Um, that's a belief. You could also say that we manifest what we think we deserve.
Yeah.
So on some level, maybe it's a soul level manifestation, maybe it's maybe it's a subconscious level manifestation, maybe it is on the culture, maybe it's on the ancestral genetic level.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't matter. It can be, so as I said, it can be what you said on the soul, that your soul wants to experience something.
Yeah.
It can be from trauma from this lifetime. It can be a belief that we have about relationships. So we're manifesting at different levels, from different levels of belief. But also you can still change that soul level. If it's no longer serving you, that can be changed.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Wow, this is quite complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
The good
The
news is,
thing is, and that's the thing, it's hard to make. Well, it's not hard, but you can make generalizations. But what works best is when it's applied to an individual. You've got to find out individually why I've attracted this, and you've got to individually ask your soul. You've got to ask your um, query into your beliefs about why you're attracting. I don't think you can apply someone else's model to your life.
yeah,
So that's why I think, especially this area, it's quite important to do individual work.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, so thank you so much, Daniel. I just wanted to remind
Thank
the
you.
viewers that Daniel had generously agreed to do sessions in order to raise money for Nourish the Children, which will feed a child for at least 1 month. So these are heavily discounted prices, and this is really a huge, big opportunity to understand Theta Healing and to get a real experience about it, and B, to actually get to know Daniel and his intuitive ability, and how he works. So if you want to do this, please private message me or Daniel. I will put his website in the comments below. And Thank you so much, Daniel. I know that a few people have booked in sessions with you and that they will benefit greatly. I think, I think a lot of us are, working on ourselves because that's my audience. But there's so many different types of healing modalities out there. What would you say is different about Theta Healing for specific relationships?
So what's different about Theta is we work on the level of the beliefs, and we are working with source energy, so working directly with all that is.
Yeah,
So it means that we can get into beliefs very quickly.
yeah,
We can address specific issues, specific beliefs very quickly.
yeah,
And it's not, so the healer is not healing, is not getting in the way of that healing. It's coming from the creator.
yeah,
And we as a healer, someone being healed, like you understand what's coming up, you understand the blocks that you have put in place, and
yeah,
you get to choose to have those released.
yeah,
So what makes it good is it's very quick. Um, it is it's very individualized,
yeah,
so it works specifically on the issues you're dealing with. And what else can I say? It's very deep, it's very powerful. It gets down to levels of belief from the soul, from
yes,
your karma, from your ancestry,
yeah,
um, from your history, and from basically all time and space, essentially. So from all
yeah,
lifetimes, this lifetime,
yes,
influence of your parents, we're essentially deprogramming. So and we're deprogramming what doesn't work for you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your generous time. I've enjoyed tremendously just interviewing you and actually also experiencing your work. I've actually been very, very intrigued by what Theta Healing could do for people. And I'm sure that at one point in time, I can actually give a live testimonial of what Theta Healing has helped me to do, in addition to the other work that I do and how I thought it was different. Anything else you would like to say, Daniel?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually one thing. So I think actually actually yeah, there's one thing. So when we work on, so if Theta Healing can work on the specific issues, so that's a good thing. So you can take an area of your life and work on it. So when it comes to soulmates, then we work on some of the standard issues that the standard areas that people have in relationships. They work on sex, intimacy, showing your emotions, fears of being in a relationship, resentments from past relationships, um, basically anything that is stopping you from being in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and then love as well. Obviously, the most important one is love, being able to give and receive love, and what that means, because a lot of us have a conception of what love is, but we don't actually know how to either receive it or give it. I know for myself personally, I knew how to give love, but I didn't know how to receive it. So that's the work that I had to do for
Yes.
myself around Theta.
Yeah.
So that's a very important, the most important thing.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share when I just started healing training. That was actually in Holland many, many years ago. um, I think we had a class of like 20 people, and we had to experience giving energy, and then we had to receive
Mm.
experiencing energy, and literally almost everybody in the class had an issue with receiving. We felt very
Yeah.
much flow with giving our energy away, but when we had to receive, all of us experience it was hard. It was like immediately we understood what a block was, because we couldn't, none of us could do it freely. And so it's so simple. These simple things can completely block, what we consciously think we want, but energetically we're just not there. Yeah.
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 Cool.
So
Cool. Okay.
thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Daniel. And
Thank you.
I look forward to connecting you to Daniel, because I really recommend working with him highly. He is just a dear, dear friend of mine. is a passionate student of basically spirituality and consciousness and personal development. He also works in corporate life. He's very firmly, he's very grounded, as you can see from his answers. And so if you have any questions, I think it would be best if you just have book a session with him. And you're also helping to feed a child. So thank you so much, everybody. And thank you again, Daniel. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.